I remember parametric equations and graphing them was a fan favorite as well this year, so this should be a piece of cake for you guys. Problem number 35. Basically, we just have to graph the curves whose parametric equations are given. And since we know that x and y both depend on t, well, we'll just plug in t's and figure out what the values of x and y are. So when t is -2, we see that x is -4 and y is -2 plus 2 is 0. So -4 is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's right there when t is equal to -2. It's the coordinates of that point are -4, 0. Okay? Well, let's pick the next value of t, and let's pick -1. -1, the x coordinate would be -2, and the y coordinate would be 1. So -2, 1. Okay? And then 0 for t, we get 0 for x, 2 for y. And it's just as simple as that, guys. In fact, you can see that it's linear, and then you can go right to the end point there when t is equal to 3, x is 6, and y is 5. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we get that value there. So remember, not only do parametric equations allow us to find where the object is at a certain time, it also gives us direction. Okay, so that's the graph. Number 36, we do the same thing for each one of these. Make a txy chart, start the t where you see it starts. So when t is -4, we get -4 times 2 is -8, minus 1 is -9. And then -4 squared is 16 plus 3 is 19. So that's really convenient as we look at this graph. It doesn't have a 19, so -9 and way up here somewhere. I'm just going to put a dot right up there. And then when t is equal to, so here y is t squared plus 3, so probably going to have a curve to this one. -3, we get -6 minus 1 is -7, and -3 squared is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12, so -7 comma 12. So 9, 8, 7, and then 12 would be somewhere right around there. Okay, let's go with -1. -1 times 2 is -2. -2 minus 1 is -3. -1 squared is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. So -3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, right about there. How about 0 for t? We get -1 for x, and we get 3 for y. Right there. Okay. And then how about 1 for x, or sorry, 1 for t, and we get 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. So, did I do that right? Never going to get 0, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. So 1, 4, and so we can see that we have a parabola. Finally, we get the vertex there, right there. And then, oh, let's plug 4 in. When t is 4, we get 8 minus 1 is 7, and we get 19. Okay, so we get 7, 9, 8, 7, and then 19 is right up there. So that's what it looks like, but don't forget, we have direction when we have parametric equations. Okay. Number 37, 0 to 2 pi. So t, x, and y. I can tell you already that this is going to be a circle. T is 0. Sine of 0 is 0. Cosine of 0 is 1. 1 times 8 is 8. So we have 0, 8. Okay. And then let's pick pi over 2. Pi over 2. Sine of pi over 2 is 1. 1 times 8 is 8. Cosine of pi over 2 is 0. So when t is pi over 2, the coordinates of the point are 8, 0. The coordinates of the point on the graph of the curve. So we have a curve that's determined by these parametric equations, and the curve determined by these parametric equations only between t equals 0 and t equals 2 pi. So we're letting t move from 0 to 2 pi. So anyway, and we can see as if we understand parametric equations with sines and cosines, when these numbers here, 8 and 8, when these numbers are the same, we get a circle. And it's going to go around like this, but I'll continue to show you why. When t is equal to pi, sine of pi is 0, so x is 0. Cosine of pi is -1, and -1 times 8 is -8. So we get the coordinates of the point on the curve, 0, -8. Okay, and that's exactly what I said would happen. We're going to get a circle. And we get direction as well, so 3 pi over 2, we're going to get -8 and 0. And then back to 2 pi, and we're going to get 0, 8. Okay, because when you plug in 2 pi, you're going to get the same values that you did when you plugged in 0. So anyway, you get this circle. Not too bad. Circle with direction. And right here is where t equals 0, and also 2 pi. So that's how you graph in parametric mode. And the last one, graphing parametrically, again, x and y are dependent variables. T is the independent variable. And so you have to pick the independent variable, and x and y both depend on that value of t that you get. So if you plug in a value of t, start here where t starts. It says t starts at 0, so start at 0. X is equal to the square root of that number, so x is 0. Y is equal to 3 times that number, plus 4. So 3 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. 1, 2, 3, oh. So we're counting by 2's here. 2, 4. Alright, so 0, 4. That's when t is 0. How about t equals 1? Square root of 1 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. So we get the point 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. This will be interesting because we don't really know the square root of 2. Let's go ahead and plug in the square root of 4. Or plug in 4 for t because we know we have to take the square root of that. Square root of that is 2. And 3 times 4 is 12 plus 4 is 16. Okay, so we get the number 2 comma 16. So 18, 16, and right there. Okay, so we have a bit of a curve to that. It's not linear. But again, we start at 0 here when t is 0. And we end up here where t is equal to 4. And that's it. Those are arrows on my little curve there. So I'll stop the video here so I can have a nice clean break at the end of page 3. So see you in the next video.